I think he's dead now. That was MCA talking. All right, Mikey, you're here though. Mikey,
hey, what's going on?
Mikey, you do the morning show with me.
Yes, sir.
You're wearing a Star Wars shirt right now.
I love it, man.
Which is fitting because I was breaking down why I hate Star Wars.
That's not fitting at all.
Well, I was just saying, I know you have something to do. How long do you got? Like 3 minutes?
I could talk a little bit, yeah.
All right, so I was just saying that Star Wars, and we've had discussions about this before, why I think Star Wars is overrated as a whole. That being said, I love Empire Strikes Back. It's one of my favorite movies, not just like science fiction movies. It's in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I love Return of the Jedi, and I like the first one as well. I think I think those three are unbelievable movies.
I mean, the original trilogy, it's unmatched. It's
okay,
real.
But then there's other movies, though.
Yes, there are.
And they're not good, in my opinion, at all.
I mean, there's
some good things.
They're good things to all the prequel movies and the sequel movies. There are good aspects to them, but overall, as a whole, each one has major flaws, and I will agree with that.
Yeah, so I was just trying to break down each film. I know we only have you for a few minutes. What would you say would be the best, and then what do you think is the worst of the Star Wars movies? And what are your opinions?
Oh my God.
A lot of people like Rogue One. I do. I have a lot of issues with Rogue One. I think that one is the most overrated of all of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Solo I actually didn't think was nearly as bad as I thought it would to
people
be.
Give Solo a bad rap, man. I watched Solo. I actually enjoyed Solo overall.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think there was a lot of issues with the making of that movie. They fired the directors that were making the movie, and then they hired Ron Howard. The budget was through the roof.
Yes,
it was like the most expensive, I think, of any of the Star Wars movies because they pretty much reshot the entire thing, and then it didn't make much money. So then they sort of stopped these Solo side projects, but they just announced like a million more movies.
Solo came out pretty quickly after Rogue One, and then people were just kind of looking at it as like, oh, this is a cash cow opportunity type of deal.
It felt like it was too much.
Yes.
But quickly, what would you say is we'll start with the best. What is the best of the best?
All right, so my absolute favorite, arguably probably not the best, but my absolute favorite is Return of the Jedi.
Okay, good.
I know I get a lot of flack for that.
Oh, I love Return of the Jedi.
I mean, people don't like the Ewoks and all that stuff and all that, and they complain about it, and they'll argue like, oh, Empire Strikes Back is better. Like, okay, man, that's cool. That's fine. So arguably, Jedi, then close second is Empire Strikes Back. My least favorite is going to have to be the second of the sequel trilogy, which was
Episode 8.
Episode 8, which was, I can't blank on the name now because it's so bad.
Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens. The last one was The Rise of Skywalker, and The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi.
Oh, The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
That movie. I thought I didn't like Attack of the Clones until I saw The Last Jedi. All right. Last Jedi was just a slap in the face overall, as a fan.
Yeah.
Because that movie took the most hopeful character in the entire universe, Luke Skywalker, and they defecated all over him. They just pretty much said, you know what? We're going to throw away everything about him, everything that everyone loves about him, out the window. And we're just going to pave this road for this new character.
I still think I will take Episode 8 over Episode 9. Episode 9 was a disaster. At least Episode 8 had two things going for it.
Yeah.
One, it had a Yoda scene, which I thought was awesome.
Oh, yeah,
seeing, the classic Muppet and Frank Oz doing the voice. That was cool.
That was great.
And then also, you had a pretty cool battle scene when Kylo Ren and Rey sort of teamed up to take on the Emperor's guards.
Man,
that was awesome.
The Knights of Ren, yeah.
Whereas Episode 9, it felt like it was written by a 7-year-old.
So the problem with Episode 9 was that originally J.J. Abrams did the first one, right? He did The Force Awakens. Then they fired him. They had some other guy do The Last Jedi.
Yeah, Rian Johnson.
And then he just didn't do anything. He didn't listen to any of the notes Abrams had or anything. He just did his own thing, right? So then they brought back Abrams to fix it. And then Abrams was like, well, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. So he just took everything that he needed to grab and that should have went over the second movie and just kind of threw a mixed mash of stuff in there. Because of that, we had this really whacked out movie, and then we had the famous line of, well, Palpatine returned somehow.
Yeah. I mean, that was just laughable. And then
such a meme.
There's one scene where there's literally 100,000 Star Destroyers. And I could literally see a 7-year-old, and then 100 Star... No, wait, 1,000 Star Destroyers come. It's like, all right. I like the simplicity of... particularly Empire Strikes Back. There's, you have the big battle at the beginning of the movie, but besides that, it's really just one-on-one, a lot of dialogue-heavy stuff. I love the whole Yoda and Luke training montage.
That was something the sequel trilogy lacked, too. That was something like I hated about Rey. And, like, I might get, like, some slack for this, but you know what? Like, honestly... The problem with Rey was not that she was a powerful character. It was that she was a powerful character with no training whatsoever and no understanding of the Force. So out of nowhere, she becomes a full master of Force manipulation, of using a lightsaber, never having touched a sword in her life, but yet somehow she can swing a lightsaber around with ease and keep up with someone who's trained their entire life under, the tutelage of Luke Skywalker, one of the greatest, lightsaber wielders of all time. But, like, it's crazy, man.
And I know you have to head on out of here, but don't you think it's also a slap in the face that, spoiler alert, the movie came out, 4 years ago at this point, that that the three main characters, now I don't know what they would have done with Princess Leia, because unfortunately Carrie Fisher did pass away.
Correct.
But they killed off that character, they killed off Han Solo, and they killed off Luke Skywalker. I think that's such a slap in the face to the people that want it.
Absolutely.
They waited 35 years to see these characters return, since Return of the Jedi came out. And then once you finally see them, they just wipe them all out. They did a bad job of transitioning from the old to the new.
Really horrible job. And like I said, what they did to Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi was they really just defecated on his corpse, man, because like I said, they took a character that was the most hopeful being in the entire universe, saying that there is good in my father, there's good in Darth Vader, spoiler alert, that that 40-year spoiler alert, by the way, but you have this character saying there is good in my father, I'm going to rescue him, I'm going to do everything I can to bring him back. And what does he do? He does exactly that. The very end of Return of the Jedi, he brings back his father to the light side, and that's why we have Force Ghost Anakin. Yeah. Whether it's Hayden Christensen or the
I don't believe in any of that. I
didn't like the Hayden Christensen ghost, I'm telling you.
The fact that they have yet officially to release those original films without the special edition, the only way you could get them is on Laserdisc or old VHS tapes, is a slap in the face. But we're going to get into more Star Wars. Mikey, I know you got some stuff to do, but thank you.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
I'll see you on Tuesday for the morning show.
Tuesday morning.